You make the biggest gains in your first 2 years of training, which is why it's crucial to get these right, especially if you're under the age of 25, where you're most primed to gain muscle. Point 1. Should you always train till failure? It's a trick question. It's not actually a yes or no answer. But first, what is failure? Failure is when you're doing an exercise and you keep going until your muscles can't physically push another rep. So you freeze, you start shaking, and you drop the weight. And that's a good thing, but there's a fine balance. You don't want absolute failure on every set of every single exercise because it'll take you 5 days to heal, so you won't get enough volume in for the month. But you don't want to never reach failure. I found that if you get around 2 reps shy of failure, that's a good balance. You also need to average the volume over the month. So for the first 2 weeks, increase the frequency so you train the same muscles 3 times per week and go lighter. And the next 2 weeks, increase the load and rep till failure and only do that twice a week. Mistake 2. You can never go wrong if you get this one right. Incorrect form. What I'm about to share is going to change the way you train forever. Having bad technique isn't just a greater chance of injury, but you're actually targeting the wrong muscles. This means those muscles won't grow. So what's the point of the exercise? An example of this is the lat pull down. Instead of keeping your forearms parallel to the wall, you pull them down to get more range of motion, which actually takes the focus away from the back and places it onto the triceps. So you're not training back anymore, you're doing triceps on a back day. Yeah. This is the same as lat pushdowns, where you're moving your elbows instead of keeping them fixed. Or dumbbell shoulder press, where you're pushing forward instead of straight up. And especially the dumbbell bicep curl, where you lift your elbows up, making it easier for your biceps, but all you're doing is putting the weight onto your front delts. So you're not actually doing a bicep curl, you're doing a shoulder curl. This is why good technique is crucial, and having someone to be there to correct you is a must when you're starting out. Subscribe. So let's take it down a notch. Number 3, not training each body part equally, especially your legs. I made this mistake. This was for 1.5 years, I didn't train legs, I just trained upper body. And this is the message I took from that. Proportional and intermediate is better than advanced and out of proportion. Because the bigger you get, the more your weaknesses show. I'm buff! So make sure you get the opinions of experienced gym lads, and make sure you don't know them too well, so they can tell you the honest answer. Just ask them what body part do they think's lacking in their eyes, and go and use that information and work on yourself. For most lads, it'll be chest, arms, or legs. You ask others because you won't be able to see your imbalances until you look at a picture of yourself in 2 years' time. But then, it's too late. Number 4 is an obvious one, yet nobody does it. And that is not recording and increasing the weight, or at least your reps in every session. You need to be in a constant state of pain, and going outside of your comfort zone is what makes your body adapt. I know someone who thinks I'm on steroids, because he's been going to the gym for 2 years and hasn't seen any results. Not believing in yourself, not believing it's possible to gain muscle, and you just hating others because they kept track and kept growing when you didn't. So your action plan to track your progress is, make a structure. This could either be legs push-pull, so you're training 3 times a week, upper lower times 2, so you're training 4 days a week, or an antagonist split, which trains your opposite muscles together. Day 1, you'll do chest and back. Day 2, you'll do triceps and biceps, plus a bit of shoulders. And day 3, you'll do quads and hamstrings. This is one of my preferred ways of training now because you can alternate from a back exercise to chest to back. This means each muscle group has plenty of rest so you can work at full capacity. Now, after you've chose your structure, track each exercise by writing your highest weight you can lift with the maximum reps on that weight. You can do it on your phone or the old school way using a notepad and pen, and then only update it if you've increased your reps on that weight, or if you've increased your weight, which is a big deal and should happen often. Every workout either increase the weight by at least 2 kg, or a more sustainable approach is to increase the reps by 1 to 5 every workout. Now, depending on what your goal is, you should get 3 to 6 reps for strength training, using a really heavy weight for your ability. For muscle growth, which is probably your main goal, aim for 8 to 12 reps on a medium weight so you can just scrape 10 reps before failure. Or choose 18 to 25 reps for endurance. And if you've been led to believe that this next point isn't important, then you'll be throwing away everything you've just learned along with your progress this year. Number 5, never changing your program. If you stick to the same program for 4 months straight, your progress will go down fast. You can test it yourself, but you'll waste your time, and I don't want you to do that. If you're training for endurance, muscle growth, or strength, then yes, train for those things. But if you want to grow your muscles, you can't just stay on the muscle growth rep range. You've got to change it up at least every 4 to 6 weeks, or else your body stops adapting, which is called a plateau, you've probably heard. So this is what you could do. Dedicate 1 solid month to strength, using heavy weighted barbells, like bench press, bent over rows, military press, and deadlifts. Then you go to a muscle growth month. This will be using dumbbells like dumbbell chest press, single arm dumbbell rows, dumbbell shoulder press, etc. And finally, you do an endurance month, and this is going to let your joints heal from all that heavy weight you'll be glad to get a break from. For this, you'll use cables or machines. 20 reps on chest flies, seated rows, or machine shoulder press, for example. This is also the month where you'll up your oily fish intake, like salmon, so your joints become healthy again. Then you can go back to your strength and hypertrophy training. But if you were to skip all this information and I just programmed everything for you, you were guaranteed a full 1 year transformation. Would you do it? If so, try a 3-week trial with me as your online personal trainer. And if you like it, you can stay and join my complete program where you'll gain muscle, reduce your love handles, improve your confidence, and everything will be tracked and increased. This way, you won't waste your year finding out your body hasn't changed much at all. And if you want to go from skinny to muscular, watch this video next.